Today, we're diving into a story that's literally billions of years in the making, but it's hitting a crisis point right now. We're talking about India's Aravalli Range, one of the oldest mountain ranges on the entire planet, and the massive controversy that could, well, wipe it right off the map. Okay, so let's start with a question that sounds like a riddle, right? How do you make something that predates most life on Earth just vanish? It seems totally impossible, but this isn't some hypothetical thought experiment. It's the very real potential outcome of a huge environmental battle happening in India today. And look, this isn't just some far-off threat in the future. It's already happening. This number, 31, it comes from a Supreme Court report back in 2018. That's the number of Aravalli Hills in the state of Rajasthan that had already been mined so heavily they had completely disappeared. Just gone, leveled to the ground. But before we get right into the thick of the controversy, let's take a step back and really understand what we're talking about. What exactly is the Aravalli Range? And why is its fate so incredibly important? So the name Aravalli is Sanskrit, and it means line of peaks. And this isn't just any old mountain range, it's an ancient weather giant. It was forged by the collision of tectonic plates billions of years ago, making it a true geological elder that's watched over the subcontinent for eons, shaping everything from its climate to its history. Now, this is where the scale of time just gets mind-boggling. The Aravallis aren't just older than the Himalayas. They are ancient relics from a time when complex life was just starting to get going on the planet. I mean, they witnessed the rise and fall of dinosaurs and the dawn of humanity. All right, so let's see how this ancient geology isn't just some dusty old relic of the past. It's an absolutely vital, living system for millions and millions of people today. So here's the crucial point. This isn't just a line of hills. It's a massive ecological engine. It's the wall that literally stops the Great Thar Desert from swallowing the fertile plains of North India. It actually helps steer the monsoon, bringing water to this huge region. And it serves as the last major green corridor in a landscape that's getting more and more urbanized. And for anyone living in or around Delhi, this is probably its most immediate life-saving role. The dense forests of the Aravallis act as a natural air purifier, a green lung that fights back against the choking pollution in one of the world's most populated and polluted urban areas. Okay, so if this range is so fundamentally important, why on earth is it being dismantled? This brings us to the heart of the storm, a huge legal battle that all comes down to a single, very controversial number. So here's what happened. In an attempt to bring some administrative clarity after decades of mining disputes, India's Supreme Court accepted a new, very strict definition from a government committee. And the rule they landed on? It's brutally simple. If a landform isn't at least 100 meters tall, it's no longer legally considered part of the Aravalli Range, period. And this is the devastating impact of that one number. According to an assessment by the Forest Survey of India, this new 100-meter rule immediately strips legal protection from over 90% of the entire Aravalli Range. An ecosystem that has to function as a whole is now legally chopped up, with the vast majority of it suddenly vulnerable. You know, it didn't have to be this way. There was another option on the table. An earlier expert panel had proposed a more holistic definition, using a 30-meter height and a minimum slope. That would have protected around 40% of the range. But that idea was rejected for the much, much stricter 100-meter rule, which, as we saw, protects less than 10%. As you can imagine, the reaction from environmentalists and local communities was just one of outrage. Activists like Neelam Ahluwalia immediately called the ruling a death warrant for the Aravallis. They argued that it's a decision that clearly prioritizes short-term mining profits over long-term ecological survival. So that brings us to the final, and honestly the most critical question of all. What are the actual stakes here? What does a future with a legally dismantled and physically shrinking Aravalli Range really look like? The consequences are not abstract. They're catastrophic. Without its shield, the Thar Desert creeps into fertile plains. Without its forests, the groundwater systems that tens of millions of people rely on could fail. The air in Delhi, already so bad, gets even worse. And for the people living there, the human cost is paid in health, as diseases like silicosis from mining dust become even more common. So why? Why take such a monumental risk? Well, this number offers a pretty big clue. It's about 5,000 crore rupees. That's the annual revenue the state of Rajasthan alone gets from mining royalties in the Aravallis. This is the immense economic pressure that's sitting right at the heart of this conflict.
And so, this is where it leaves us, staring at the ultimate dilemma. The Aravalli controversy is no longer about a technical legal definition of a hill. It's become a profound test for India, posing a fundamental question about the kind of future it wants to choose, one that cashes in on its ancient natural heritage, or one that fights to preserve its oldest guardian.